Hello and welcome. In this lecture, we are going to talk about Jenkins master and node concept with a example as a demo. So first of all, I'm using that in virtual Vagrant for creating the VirtualBox with help of a Oracle VirtualBox and creating the CentOS like in one CentOS7 one box in on top of the Windows, and the IP address will be there 192.168.10.11, and these ones will configure that, and in this IP will consider as a node, and Jenkins master is installed in Windows 10 PC. So something it will be look like that, where Jenkins master will be there and you can configure the n number of nodes, but we are going one master and one node at the moment. In one to many also you can do it. I'll let you know for that. So as of now, Jenkins is running in my Windows 10 system, and I'm just provisioning that in CentOS in that in same Windows 10 server for just creating one node, and that node IP address is 192.168.10.1. And this is the configurations file I'm using that in, especially configuring that in Vagrant, and most probably if you are not aware of, just follow that in Vagrant sections how to provision that in server. In quickly I'll recap it. So just defining that in Jenkins underscore node and Jenkins node, and using that in CentOS7 as a virtual box, and host name is a Jenkins node, and network private IP address 192.168.10.11, forwarding port 22 to 22 for guest and host, similarly for 8080 to 8080. Autocorrect true. Jenkins node SSH in insert key false, and I'm using that in my private key whatever is there for in securing that in a Jenkins. Similarly for like in provisioners, public key for like in just authorizing it, and after that in provisioner it's using the cell for the inline, and this is the command for just it's configuring it is a cell config where some enable and disable flag is doing. Followed by that, and in Jenkins node provided another cell CDOM upgrade, so upgrading that in whatever CentOS7 is there, if anything is required to download patching and all, and installing the JDK 1.8 OpenJDK Java and OpenJDK Devel and wget for the other utility. So this will be done by that in once you'll do that in Vagrant app, and I have already did that for making this video shorter. After that, what you have to do, just place that in whatever this file is there. I'll upload in the short sections, just download it in your like in respective folder, and then just do that in Vagrant app. And but before that, make sure you have installed that in VirtualBox and Vagrant, and then we'll do the Vagrant SSH, Vagrant Alt, and destroy. So after that we'll get something like that, and this is screens what we have a Jenkins, and then we'll do something like that. So let's go one by one and do it now. So I mean like in a, this is our code base what we have. After that this is the command we are going to perform. So let me open that in a so here we have a Vagrant file. So just type that in cmd, enter. I'm in that in directory, and if I'll do that in Vagrant app, it will be say that it's already up, because I have did that it is was taking about 4 minutes, so I thought of reducing the time, and so downloading part especially and provisioning part it will be not done because it's already done in I have did that. And after that I just make a Vagrant halt, so it was there like you can see that in that OS where there be a VirtualBox, and the power off it is there, once it is really up, then it will be on. Yeah, so booting is started, and you can see that now it's running. All right, it's up now. We can go and do that in Vagrant SSH, and you will be able to enter into the server. So you can see that in now this VirtualBox is up and running. Yeah. So I'm in that in that server, and what is next? So I'm closing these ones because I don't want to keep all those. Mm, and then we have this is the command you have to perform it. So first command is doing nothing, just adding that in one user, and in -d it's in particular directory, home directory, and that name of the Jenkins. I have already did that, so again let's try it. So what is happening? It will say already exist, and it will, if you change the password also, it will not needed because second command is doing that in password change. Just try it and you will get the prompt. Remember this password. Okay. All right, so I'm in that in Jenkins user now, and next it's a need to be generated that in a key. So this command will be generated the key. Let me generate it because it's overwrite the previous one. Okay, it's saying that in yes. So if I'll say yes, whatever key were there earlier, it is override now. And this is the command. It's just getting like an adding entry into the authorized key. And then we have to just do that in a changing the permissions to 600, and then we have to read the private key. So now we got that in this private key, and on basis of that we'll connect into the Jenkins. And this is just a temporary private key, so I can delete it a bit later. So the step is done until creating the private key and public key. Now this node we are going to connect it from the Jenkins. So for that, what I have to do, I have to log in into the Jenkins, and I have opened the Jenkins, and it's running in my Windows 10 system. And yeah, so I have logged in into Jenkins now. For creating the node, you have to click on the Jenkins actor, come all the in manage Jenkins and manage node and cloud. So at the moment, we are just going to create a simple node, not a cloud one. And I'm just tapping the Jenkins NODE. So sometime we used to say that the node, sometime worker, sometime slab as well. So just don't confuse if someone is saying that node, slab, and worker. It's a remaining same. So for this and for this, there is one plugins we need to download it. I'll come to that in that point as well, because I have already did that in at the time of installation itself, and click on the OK. So Jenkins parameter lab, you have to just edit and then you will get it. So what I have did that in now just a name and descriptions, you can put that in a Jenkins node, and number of executor you can put that in remote directory. So remote directory is nothing but whatever we have put that in user home directory, or you can choose that in anything which ones I have access to that user. And labels, we are going to use that in Jenkins node. So this will be available into that in with help of labels in your job, or like in pipeline code. Use this node as much as possible. You can choose that in our next options, label expressions matching on this node in case of once you are going to write the pipeline or like in code. So after that we have a launch method. These are the four method we have, and which is third one we are going to use that in launch agent via the SSH. While using this one, so we are going to get the SSH connectivity. So now we need a host name. So for getting the host name, we need to come here and just copy this IP address and type over here. Now second thing, how we are going to connect this node, so we need to provide the credential. At the moment nothing is there, because it's a brand. Just click on the add and Jenkins. This is the in global one, and you can choose that in kind of if you have username with password, then use it. If you get app and so many, so we are going to use that in SSH user with a private key. Once you select that in SSH user with private key, it will become something like that. You can choose that in Jenkins hyphen node and descriptions Jenkins hyphen node and username Jenkins. What is this username? Whatever we have created with help of a pseudo username and this one. So for in our case, we have a name of user is a Jenkins, and then click on the private key entry. And once you click the private key entry, it will become something like that. Click on the add, and now whatever's private key we have generated, you have to copy these ones from beginning to till here. So once you'll copy these ones and you need to paste over here and come all the way down and click on the add button. After clicking the add button, it will be listed it out in your this drop down. Just click on that and select it. Now host key verification strategy, you have to choose that in what, because we have already added that in verifications, and click on that in manually trusted key verification strategy. Because if you'll remember here, what we are doing that in, we are just adding that in our public key into the authorized key. So in that case not needed. And if you click on the advanced, let it be all as it is, because we are going to use that port 22, and Java we have already installed, and it's there in that in the path. And for that you can go and verify it here. So if you run the Java command, it will be done. If it is not running, meaning there is a problem, you have to set the path, or you have to come and set the path over here. And just click on the save. All these configurations you can see that in if needed, click on the save. Now you'll be see that in a status, this is the our Windows system where master is running, and these are the configurations is there. Now we have a Jenkins, but it's saying that in a unavailable state. Just click on that, and what you have to do, just click on the launch agent. So once you'll do that in launch agent, it will be say something like an agent has been already launched and it will be come as like in a online now. So earlier it was there only one master, now we have a Jenkins node as well. So we need to copy that in this name. Now we are going to run that in jobs in our Jenkins node. So what we have to do, again click on the Jenkins, click on the create node, and say that in Jenkins master to node job. Yeah, and you can choose that in a freestyle project. Click on the OK. You can choose that in all those value. The things you have to here, like, and restrict where this project can be run. So just type that in a name of the whatever's label we have defined it, and it's a one node permissions or other actions you will be needed. And so you have to remind that restricts where this project can be run, and label expressions you can put that in these ones. For more details, once you'll click that in questions mark, you'll get that. Come all the way down, and we'll just print that in a cell command now. And earlier we used to run that in a command, but now we are running that in a Windows command, but now we are running the cell command. So we'll say that in echo echo, and we'll say that in hey, this is first job in Jenkins master and node, and what we are going to do, df minus h, which is Unix command, and just click on the save. And once we'll perform the build now, the jobs will be executed into the node, and you can clone and see that in details as well. It's a job is running in a node or not. So here if you'll come all the way down, this ones will get that in one job will be in the executions. Let me go and build it one more time. Okay, it's taking very less time due to that we are not able to see. But if you'll see that in output, it's a df minus h, which is extracted the result from that in server and started printing on that. And this is the one way. Second one, you can see that in the configurations, you can create that in a node as well, and for that like in pipeline also, and that pipeline you can run it. So for that we have to go again and create a new item and say that in Jenkins hyphen node pip line, and click on the pipeline, click on the OK, come all the way down and select the pipeline script and paste that code, and we put the Jenkins hyphen node. So our node name is Jenkins node, that is going to execute the stage 1, 2 and 3. Click on the save, click on the build now. Yeah, so it's executed. If you'll see that in it's saying that in running on the Jenkins node by these ones. So now instead of running the job in Jenkins master, it's going and running into the Jenkins node. Yeah, and this way you can create that in n number of node. What I'll do, I'll make this node offline. So for making this node offline, what I'll say, exit and Vagrant HLT halt. So once the server is not reachable, then our Jenkins job will be automatically, my Jenkins node will be automatically down. Yeah, and now if I'll come here and go to the node section. Yeah, so node is getting down. So why it's getting? Connections was broken. Java IE exceptions is not able to connect because we have shut down the VM. What I'll do that in the last command, we can do Vagrant destroy, so that VM will be also destroyed. At the moment it will be there into the VirtualBox in shutdown state. It will verify it's there in the power off, so you can do that in shutdown as well if you want. So this way we'll understand that in all those details, reference you can refer that in a wiki .jenkins.io and display and so on and so forth, which is there in here. And that's all about in these lectures. Please like and please and that's all.